phase of life. So they have this child.
Right.
And there's not many systems to help support the baby.
Well, that doesn't justify murdering the baby. Just because the baby might have a hard life, that doesn't justify murder.
So you'd rather have this kid struggle, have maybe a poor education, maybe face drug addiction, abuse?
I'd rather people obey God, and God says thou shalt not murder. And so nobody's ever justified in murdering a baby. It doesn't matter what we think is going to happen to the baby. We should. Those other.
Have the baby come into a very hard life on the west side of Milwaukee or on the north side of Milwaukee, where the systematic oppression and racism has really abused these people, than have it.
Yes, I would rather that happen than them being
killed in the first trimester.
Right, I would rather that happen than them get murdered. Right? Like, it's always better to live than get murdered, right?
I mean, I think it's easy for you as a white male, that I don't know your background, to say that, but when there's brown and black babies on the west and north side of the city that get born into shitty situations because cities were built on oppression and racism.
Oh, why don't we?
Segregation. Why don't we fix that?
Right, we should fix that.
God.
Okay, but maybe according to your logic, we should go into those communities and start killing the born people, so that they don't suffer anymore, right?
Are we not already?
Well,
we're doing it through food.
Well, you're advocating for that kind of mindset, right? Why don't you advocate for that for born people? Why don't you say, let's go into the poor neighborhoods and let's put these people out of their misery by murdering the born people, right?
It seems like the system's doing that on its own already. So my question is, again, you would rather have small children born into a systematic racism and oppression where they're eating fast food restaurants and corner stores. They're probably going to die at a young age anyway from chronic disease and illness, than not have to suffer at all, and they can't feel the damn thing.
Well, they can.
Okay.
Yes, they can feel it.
Okay.
But like, our morality cannot be dictated by what people feel.
Yeah.
And God's law is always supreme.
Okay.
And so God says thou shalt not murder. And when you murder, you're in rebellion against God. And it's still completely absurd to think that we should murder people so that they don't have a hard life later on. Because they could have a great life, right? We don't know what their life is going to be like.
That is true. But
and you should say,
you don't know the outcome.
You should advocate. You should think about, would you advocate for the same thing you're advocating for born people, right? So, would you say, let's go into the minority neighborhoods and let's put these born people out of their misery so that they stop eating bad food, so that they stop experiencing systemic racism? Let's go murder the born people so they stop suffering.
But I don't believe this is murder.
So that's the difference there.
Yeah,
so that's your problem. You're discriminating. You're discriminating against these children. Why do you not think it's murder? Murder's
the first trimester. They don't feel it. I mean,
so murder is only.
It could save the parents' life.
So murder is only murder when somebody can feel the murder.
Not necessarily, but I mean, how much is the heart beating in the first trimester?
You seem to be discriminating based on physical characteristics, right?
Answer my question. How much is the heart beating?
In the first trimester? When does it start beating?
Yeah.
I think about 18 days.
18 days. And when does the woman know she's pregnant?
I'm not sure.
Can't you know? So if you don't know, so you automatically have to keep the child under any circumstance you're living in.
You always have to obey God and never murder people.
So what about wars that have been against religion, against Islamic communities? Like, what about bombing when we go over there and bomb them? What about those babies?
We shouldn't bomb people. I mean, we should wage just wars. There's a lot of unjust wars going on in the world right now.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you put your faith in?
I think helping others, man.
Yeah.
That's what my faith is, and I don't have a faith in any higher being because.
Yeah. Why is it good to help other people? Is it just your preference, or is it objectively good?
I think it's just a good thing to do.
Yeah. Is it just your opinion?
I think faith is something that you have the right to believe. Everyone has the right to believe in what they want. So I'm not. If you want to sit out here and do this, I'm not against it. I just wanted to have that conversation. But why? You have the right to believe and have your faith in whatever you want.
So why do you want to help people? What is the motivation behind that?
Because I think people should live healthy and strong lives. I think after they're born. Yeah.
Why? Why should people live healthy and strong lives?
I just think it's my moral right to do that.
It's just what
I feel like
it's just what makes you feel good, I guess.
I guess, yeah. I have the knowledge and the resources, the education to provide other people with a good well-being. So
you want that for them. And like, can you go deeper and explain why you want that for them? Is it just because it makes you feel good?
I have the knowledge and the resources to help people get access to, or help people get healthy food in their communities, to upbuild them, to empower them. them I know how I can do that. I have training.
Why is it good?
Why should I do that? Because I've spent money getting that training, so I want to be able to help people and help them prosper. Yes.
Why should people prosper?
I mean, to live a long and happy life, man.
Why should people live long and happy lives?
I mean, I think that's
Satan believes in free will.
I don't know. Maybe do you not think people should die short, quick?
Oh, I think people should live long and happy lives, but I have a justification for that belief. I have a reason to believe that.
So they could go to heaven.
Well, I mean,
Is that your belief?
I think they should live lives in obedience to God, and living a long life of obedience to God is a good thing, and you can find happiness in living a long life of obedience to God. And so our purpose in life is to glorify God. And so, but like in your worldview in which God doesn't exist, why is it good for humans to exist, and why should they feel feelings of happiness? I never said it was
good for humans to exist. We're a cancer to our planet.
Oh, but I thought you wanted them to live long and be happy, right?
Yeah, I do. But I'm not saying generally. I'm not saying like human existence. I think should go extinct pretty quick here. But we're going to.
Then why are you trying to help them?
I mean, it's what I can do now. I want to be a humanitarian.
But what I can do with my fucking body. You have no opinion and no right to say shit about shit.
I can tell you to use your body to love your baby, and to not use your body to hate your baby and kill your baby.
Okay, but if I'm gonna give a baby a bad fucking life, then why should I have it? Why should I have it?
Because God commands you to love your child, to love your neighbor as yourself, to love people and not hate them, and to not murder them.
God is dead.
So why do you think it's appropriate to murder babies, man?
Get him, Sam. Where's the love for others you point, so you can agree with?